Welcome back to Maryland Today. My name is Jeff St. Pierre. Joining me again today, always a pleasure to have her here, the wonderful Deanna Booker. She's a financial expert and manager of community outreach and communication for the Consumer Credit Counseling Service of Maryland and Delaware. Deanna, thank you as always.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always my pleasure.
We're going to talk a little bit about retirement today. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
All right. So given the choice, we'd all prefer to spend our golden years doing what we want to do. But studies show that many of us haven't really developed that financial plan to reach that goal. So why is it that so many of us are dropping the ball when it comes to planning for retirement?
Well, I think there are a bunch of reasons, but mainly I think it's because, times are so tough economically that I think many of us, many Americans, we just have other stuff to do. There are other financial priorities that people are focusing on. Folks have lost their jobs or they're experiencing all different kinds of setbacks that make it harder for them to be able to save and put money away and do that kind of thinking ahead planning. It's just difficult. I think younger consumers may be focused on paying off student loans or
Amen.
think that right. I second that. Or think that retirement is so far away that they don't need to plan yet. So that's the kind of mindset that they have. Older consumers might be in a state of denial. They're thinking they waited too long and now it's, too late to start, that sort of thing. Some people I think just have that notion that the future is going to take care of itself. That Social Security or some other resource is going to take care of their needs. Folks are confused. They're overwhelmed with it all. So they don't know how to start planning.
This may be a dumb question, but I'm going to ask it anyway because I think it deserves a good answer.
Okay.
And I'm going to get one from you.
I'm going to try.
Why is it important for each of us to begin preparing for a retirement plan?
Well, I think because we're living in an era of dwindling government programs. People are living longer. There's an even larger senior population. So there's a good chance that Social Security and Medicare benefits will grow increasingly smaller as time goes by. So, and meanwhile, the cost of living and health care continues to go up and up and up. This means we're all going to need more money to just maintain the same sort of basic quality of life. So, but if you don't buy into this economic picture, it still pays to start planning for retirement now. It's the way that you're going to ensure that you're going to have the financial resources available to spend later in life and keep yourself comfortable and being able to do the things you want to do.
So when really is the best time to start planning for retirement?
Well, obviously, the earlier, the better. Those of us who are putting away retirement funds in our 20s are a lot more likely to, have built up the money that we're going to need to retire confidently. That being said, though, if you're already older and you haven't started planning, there still is time and there still is hope. You can develop a strategy now that's going to put you in a better position if you didn't do anything. Obviously, like I said, the earlier, the better, but it's not too late no matter where you are.
All right, so I'm going to grab my pen here to make sure I can start taking notes throughout this because now I've got some questions that I feel like I can relate to.
Okay.
So we'll start here. Say I need a retirement plan, but I'm not really sure where to get things started.
Right.
What's the first thing you think I should do?
The first step is the same one that we recommend in any circumstance. Take a look at your current financial situation, where you are right now. So that's going to give you that starting point. So, for example, you want to look at your personal budget. How much income are you bringing in every month? How much do you pay out for living expenses? How much debt do you have? What do you owe? How much are you regularly putting into savings? Those are the kinds of questions that you've got to be asking yourself. And the answers to those questions are going to give you a snapshot, of your current financial picture.
Okay, got that. So what's the next step that I have?
I think once you have that starting point, then it's time to decide and to look at where you want to go. To do that, you're going to need to get a handle on your retirement income and expenses. So to get those estimates, to estimate your retirement income, figure out how much you can expect to receive from work-related pensions, employee plans, investments, those kinds of benefits. You might want to talk to your company's HR department or your plan provider and review your investment accounts, so you can really get all of that information. There's a great online calculator at www.socialsecurity.gov that's going to help you estimate your Social Security earnings. So you want to look at those kinds of things and really figure out what that income is going to be like.
Okay, so I'm looking at all those things. I've kind of got an idea. I've totaled up the income that I can expect for retirement. But the big question mark is, how do I figure out the amount that it's going to cost for me to live?
Right. That is the bigger question. And I think before you consider retirement expenses, you first have to think about how you want to or how you hope to be able to spend that phase of your life. For instance, do you want to travel? Do you plan to stay in your current home or relocate? Are you trying to move closer to your family? Do you have hobbies or interests that you're hoping to be able to pursue maybe in a larger fashion? Those kinds of factors, I think, are going to come into your bottom line. You also want to take a look at the monthly expenses that you currently pay. The things that you're really paying right now. This is going to give you an idea of how much you're going to need to live. Some expenses, like if you're paying your mortgage, may not apply once you retire, but you really got to think about all of them. What kind of new expenses, larger medical bills, those kinds of things that might come into play. So that kind of information is really going to help you get a realistic estimate of how much it's going to cost you to live. And then you can compare that to what you have coming in from what you have going out. You can do that math. Does it look like you're going to have enough financial resource to cover your retirement? And if it doesn't, you've got to consider adjusting those plans. What other things can I do? Look for other ways to increase the amount that maybe you have in savings. What things can I do to kind of bolster it up a bit?
For many of us, and I'm throwing my own hat in the ring here, it's hard to find that extra money to throw into a savings account.
Right.
If you're on a limited income, how can you go about doing all these things?
I think you really have to look. If you need more money to put away now, you've got to pinpoint where it's currently going. Mm-hmm. So you really have to investigate it. To do that, you've got to track your expenses, write everything down, no matter how small it is, in a spending journal. Do it for a month. Every time you spend $1, write it down. Keep that journal for a month and then review the journal and look for ways, how was I spending and where can I cut back? Earmarking the money that you have is going to free you up specifically for retirement, to be able to add that to retirement. Even small amounts that you save regularly are going to compound over time. So I think it's a good habit to learn. I think it's a habit that folks want to get into, and it's going to make the transition easier, hopefully, as retirement gets closer, as you get closer to knowing that you're going to have to live on that fixed income.
So what else can we do to build retirement savings?
Well, I think the big thing, like we're telling folks all the time, is pay yourself first. Consider having a certain amount of your paycheck automatically deposited into a retirement account or an employee plan like a 401k, something like that. If you belong to an employee retirement plan like a 401k or a 403b, take full advantage of it. You really have to do that. You don't want to leave any of that money on the table, so to speak. So talk to your human resource folks, at work, or your plan provider. Find out how your plans work and what you can do to maximize those benefits. If your organization offers a match, take full advantage of that. Make sure you understand all the rules and restrictions that might come along with it, tax implications and that kind of thing. But really, you want to take full advantage of those kinds of plans. A
lot of people end up, bringing some debt along with them. How important is it to pay your debts in preparation for retirement?
Oh, my goodness. It's very important. Yeah. It's extremely important. If you have credit card bills or student loans, work as much as you can, as hard as you can to get those paid off now so they won't follow you into retirement. If you owe on a mortgage, work to pay it off before you retire. You might be able to do this by paying a little more in the principal, every month, making bi-weekly payments, that kind of thing, to get that down. Try refinancing, maybe at a lower interest rate, but it's really, really important to get out from under that debt before you head into retirement. And if you need advice, or if you need help, or if you need, the makings of a plan for paying off those debts, we can help. At Consumer Credit Counseling Service, we can definitely help. We have free confidential budget counseling, credit counseling. Our certified counselors are on the phone. They're in our offices ready to help. You can call us at 1-800-642-2227, make an appointment, and that's something we can help folks with.
We're talking about preparing for retirement today with Deanna Booker from Consumer Credit Counseling Services of Maryland and Delaware. So does CCCS have any additional resources to help listeners plan for retirement?
We do. We have free housing counseling for consumers who are facing foreclosure. Right now, we're also offering free counseling to help seniors determine if a reverse mortgage might help them meet their retirement needs.
That's a hot topic
these
days, yeah.
It really, really is. We have a free retirement calculator in the resources section on our website. It's www.cccs-inc.org. Our free online women's wealth course includes a lot of great information about retirement and investing. That's located in the education section on the site. There's all kinds of great information there.
CCCS does an amazing job getting information out to people, but what other retirement planning resources are out there?
Well, the Social Security website has a lot of excellent information that can help you understand and maximize government benefits. Groups like AARP, they really do a lot of good when it comes to providing retirement articles and resources, that kind of thing. And folks just want to keep an eye out. Take advantage of free retirement workshops at your place of business and in the community, just kind of in general. A lot of times churches are doing a lot around that sort of thing. There's all kinds of reliable government and consumer web sources and books and magazines, all kinds of stuff out there to learn about some options. And maybe folks even want to consider talking with a reputable financial planner. And before you do, though, shop around to make sure that you receive, really good advice, really accurate and objective advice. But there's a bunch of different ways that you can get some of this information.
You used a great word there a second ago, and you used the word reputable financial planner. That's actually 3 words. But how do we select a qualified financial planner? That's a very important thing.
Right. You really want to make sure that you're dealing with someone who's reputable. So I might say talk with family members or friends who've already been through the experience or been through the process. They might be able to refer you to a financial advisor who provided them with good advice, who did a good job for them. Make sure that the advisor you choose is a certified financial planner. You'll see those letters, CFP. They're licensed, they're regulated, they have to take all sorts of mandatory classes on different aspects of financial planning so they know what they're talking about. So you want to make sure the person you're dealing with is certified. Ask how your planner gets paid. That might seem like a weird question, but you want to know, because a lot of them who are offering free, and I'm doing air quotes when I say that word,
she is.
Advice,
I can assure you, she is.
They or earning money based on commission rather than charging a flat hourly rate, they might be more interested in steering you, toward a particular product than really suggesting plans that are really going to benefit you. So you want to check into that kind of thing. Ask to see a copy of the Code of Ethics to which the financial planner adheres. Look for the word fiduciary and language that requires the planner to look after your best interests. You just really want to make sure they've got your best interest at heart.
Well, if they're going to have the word fiduciary in their Code of Ethics, I'm going to sign with them anyway,
right.
Just because.
Exactly,
because
it's a great word
to throw in there. SAT word. All right, enough kidding around. Deanna, we've, as always, given plenty of information here, a lot of really helpful information. Do you have any other final advice here?
Well, I think that a lot of times consumers think that Social Security is going to pretty much cover their full retirement. And I would just say, don't let yourself fall into that trap. Take an active role in planning now. Build a better plan. Learn as much as you possibly can and start doing it right now.
We can never give this information out enough. So, Deanna, one more time, let me know, or let all of us know, how people can get in touch with CCCS.
Absolutely. They can call us for budget counseling, credit counseling, housing counseling at our 800 number. It's 1-800-642-2227. They can go to our website, take advantage of all the resources we have there, www.ccs-inc.org. And just let me say one more time, the sooner you begin preparing for retirement, the better chance you have that you're going to retire with confidence when that time comes. So start now.
As always, a ton of amazing information today. Deanna Booker, that's her name. She's here from the local nonprofit Consumer Credit Counseling Service of Maryland and Delaware, otherwise abbreviated CCCS, if you heard that throughout the interview today. Deanna, thank you so much for coming in once again. Always a pleasure.
It's always my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for joining us this and every week for Maryland Today.